If you want the present to be different from the past, study the past. The world would be happier if men had the same capacity to be silent that they have to speak. What everyone wants from life is continuous and genuine happiness. When a man is free to his emotions, he is not his own master. Ignorance of true causes makes for total confusion. No matter how thin you slice it, there will always be two sides. The better part of us is in harmony with the order of the whole of nature. Nothing is nature is by chance. Something appears to be chance only because of our lack of knowledge. The more clearly you understand yourself and your emotions, the more you become a lover of what is. Be not astonished at new ideas, for it is well known to you that a thing does not therefore cease to be true, because it is not accepted by many. Fear cannot be without hope, nor hope without fear. We feel and know that we are eternal. Those who know the true use of money and regulate the measure of wealth according to their needs, live contented with few things. Minds are conquered not by arms, but by love and nobility. It may easily come to pass that a vain man may become proud and imagine himself pleasing to all, when he is in reality a universal nuisance. Pride is pleasure arising from a man's thinking too highly of himself. He alone is free, who lives with free consent under the interguidance of reason. Everything excellent is as difficult as it is rare. So long as a man imagines that he cannot do this or that, so long as he is determined not to do it, and consequently so long as it is impossible to him that he should do it. Happiness is a virtue, not its reward. In practical life, we are compelled to follow what is most probable. In speculative thought, we are compelled to follow truth. Fame has also his great drawback that if we pursue it, we must direct our lives so as to please the fancy of man. Things which are accidentally the causes either of hope or fear are called good or evil omens. I do not know how to teach philosophy without becoming a disturber of the peace. The greatest pride or the greatest despondency is the greatest ignorance of oneself. If men were born free, they would, so long as they remained free from no conception of good and evil. Men govern nothing with more difficulty than their tongues, and can moderate their desires more than their words. All happiness or unhappiness solely depends upon the quality of the subject to which we are attached by love. Reason cannot defeat emotion, and emotion can only be displaced or overcome by a stronger emotion. The highest endeavor of the mind and the highest virtue is to understand things by intuition. Indeed, just as light makes manifest both itself and darkness, so truth is the standard both of itself and falsity. Men believe themselves to be free simply because they are conscious of their actions and unconscious of the cause whereby those actions are determined. To give aid to every poor man is far beyond the reach and power of every man. Care of the poor is incumbent on society as a whole. Emotional distress and unhappiness have their origin mostly is excessive love toward a thing subject to considerable instability. The more you struggle to live, the less you live. Give up the notion that you must be sure of what you are doing. Instead, surrender to what is real within you, for the alone is sure. You are above everything distressing. People are quite incapable of distracting their minds from thinking of any other goods besides riches, honor, and sensual pleasure. I call him free, who is led slowly by reason. Ambition is the immoderate desire for power. Superstition is founded on ignorance. I do not presume that I have found the best philosophy. I know that I understand the true philosophy. Everyone has as much right as he has might. Let unswerving integrity be your watchword. The endeavor to understand is the first and only basis of virtue. The proper study of a wise man is not how to die but how to live. Reality and perfection are synonymous. Big fish eat small fish with as much right as they have power. I have made a ceaseless effort not to ridicule, not be bewailed, not to scorn human actions, but to understand them. Conduct that brings about harmony is that which is related to justice, equity, and honorable dealing. People under the guidance of reason seek nothing for themselves that they would not desire for the rest of humanity. Extreme pride or self-abasement indicates extreme weakness of spirit. Happiness is not the reward of virtue, but is virtue itself. Nor do you delight in happiness because we restrain from our lusts, but on the contrary, because we delight in it, therefore we are able to restrain them. In so far as the mind sees things in their eternal aspect, it participates in eternity. Be not astonished at new ideas, for it is well known to you that a thing does not therefore cease to be true because it is not. None are more taken in by flattery than the proud, who wish to be the first and are not. In facts conflict with a theory, either the theory must be changed or the facts. Desire nothing for yourself, which you do not desire for others. Love is nothing but joy with the accompanying idea of an external cause. Hatred is increased by being reciprocated and can, on the other hand, be destroyed by love. Will and intellect are one and the same thing. Philosophy has no end in view, save truth. Faith looks for nothing but obedience and pity. The true aim of government is liberty. I make this chief distinction between religion and superstition, that the latter is founded on ignorance, the former on knowledge. The more clearly you understand yourself and your emotions, the more you become a lover of what is. In interpeople will never transfer its rights to a few people or to one person if they can reach agreement among themselves. In isolation, no one has the strength to defend themselves and acquire the necessities of life. Everywhere truth becomes a casualty through hostility or servility when despotic power is in the hands of one or few. Most people parody their own ideas as God's word, mainly to compel others to think like them under religious pretexts. Knowledge of God is the mind's greatest good. Its greatest virtue is to know God. He who loves God cannot endeavor that God should love him in return.